The governments of the United States and the United Kingdom have welcomed the signing of peace pledges by Nigerian candidates in the forthcoming general elections and their commitment to a peaceful process. Both governments in a joint statement say they will be paying close attention to actions of individuals who interfere in the democratic process or who instigate violence against civilians before, during and after the elections. Both say they remain committed supporters of Nigeria's democracy, and they believe that the Nigerian people should be able to choose their leaders in an environment free from hate speech and insecurity. They also pledge their support for the Independent National Electoral Commission and to Nigeria's civil society to help deliver credible polls. Now let's cross over to Abuja. Here's Ibrahim Adra. Ibrahim?
Many thanks indeed, Ijoma. Let's begin in Kaduna, where the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, which is Secondus, is urging Nigerians to vote out the government of President Muhammadu Buhari and allow the president to go home. At a presidential rally in the state, the national chairman said the president has tried, but it is time to allow someone else to pilot the affairs of the country. At the occasion, which had former governors of the state and the former vice president Namadi Sambo in attendance, the party encouraged their supporters to ensure they vote for the party's presidential candidate and all party candidates in the coming election. Our correspondent Buhari Lasisi has this report.
The Ahmadu Bello Stadium is the venue for the Kaduna State Presidential Rally for the People's Democratic Party. Party supporters are on ground to welcome the campaign team, flying the party's colors from surprising heights. Party leaders in the state, made up of former governors and a former vice president, urged support for the party.
Zaman lafiya an samu lokacin PDP ba a sace-sacen mutane na zuwa gona su noma lami lafiya.
Mutane da yawa sun yi jawabi, an faɗi irin abubuwa wanda mai girma wazirin Adamawa zai dawo mana da ita, zai articulating Nigeria. Articulation.
For officials of the campaign team and the presidential candidate, the coming elections provide a chance for Nigerians to take a stand.
Gaskiya ko akwai yu babu aiki inshallah. Idan kuna so aiki, kuna so abinci, PDP,
It is time for us to ask President Buhari to go home. Let him go home. Baba has tried. He has tried, not be so.
Sun ce za su kawo zaman lafiya. Sun cika alkawari. Buhari must go. APC must go. PDP.
The governorship candidate and legislative candidates of the party were presented to the crowd.
One message that has been emphasized here and continues to be emphasized wherever the campaign team goes is the need for people to come out and vote. They also ask that people protect their votes. Buhari Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Thank you, Larry. Now, still talking politics, the Igbo socio-cultural group Ohanaeze Ndigbo has endorsed the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Atiku was endorsed during a meeting of the group in Enugu, after which a 7-point communique was released to the media. The statement notes that Ohanaeze is aware of the PDP has given Ndigbo an opportunity for inclusivity by picking Mr. Peter Obi as the vice presidential candidate of the party. It also acknowledges that the presidential candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, has made an avowed commitment to restructuring of the federation and reconfirmed same during his recent visit to the United States and his meeting with high-level U.S. officials. The group also asked Igbo people to see their PVCs as their most potent tool to ensure a restructured polity and for better society, and for them to come out, vote and protect their votes. The campaign trail President Muhammadu Buhari moved to the southeast states of Anambra and Enugu today in continuation of the party's nationwide re-election campaign. President Buhari again gave the people the assurance that he would fulfill his campaign promises if given another chance to rule the country.
President Muhammadu Buhari arrives the Akanu Ibiam International Airport in Enugu State. He is received by Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi and other top government officials. The train then moves to Anambra State, where he meets with the Obi of Onitsha, His Royal Majesty Nnemeka Achebe, other traditional rulers and religious leaders. The visit is an opportunity for the people to bear their minds on certain issues, ranging from marginalization to infrastructure and security.
It is important that power is devolved from the center to the regions or to the states as the case may be, because we believe that this will bring governance closer to the people.
Giving answers to the various questions raised, President Buhari also solicits their support in the forthcoming election.
In the southeast, there are 5 states. In the north, I think there are 18 states. In the southeast, out of the 5 states, I picked 5 members of the Executive Council. I think I try to be fair. I assure you that I will do my best. Please ask your people to vote me.
The president and his team moved to the newly constructed mausoleum to inaugurate the edifice, which took 23 years to be completed. At the Basilica of the Most Holy Trinity Cathedral Field, Onitsha, loyalists of the All Progressives Congress gather to receive the president. President Buhari gives the people reason he should be re-elected.
In the Niger Delta region, we have come to some agreement with the militants, and protection is going on. What we want you to do is to come out and vote for APC top to bottom. APC.
From Anambra, it's back to Enugu, where he inaugurates the Center of Excellence at the University of Nigeria and Nsukka, Enugu campus. Finally, President Buhari and his team hold a rally seeking the support of the people come February 16th, 2019.
And that's all from here. Let's rejoin Ijoma in our Lagos studios for more of the news at 10.
Thanks a lot, Ibrahim. The Ogun State Governor, Ibikolo Amosun, has asked politicians who may be thinking of rigging the elections to have a rethink, as this may lead to violence. He was speaking on a second-day tour of Abeokuta North Local Government area, where he's visiting all 16 wards. The governor is rallying support for himself in his senatorial ambition and for President Muhammadu Buhari's re-election.
It's a mega rally of some sort for Senator Ibikolo Amosun, who is visiting Abeokuta North to seek support for his ambition to return to the Senate in next month's election. While the governor converses support for himself on one hand, he does so for President Buhari's re-election on another.
The governor has done numerous things for us, including the provision of water and food bridge. His wife has been of great help to the women. We've been following him since 2007 and have never been defeated here, and will never be, by the special grace of God.
Before getting here, the train had stopped over at other wards in the council area. In all of the places visited, it's assurances of victory, not just for the governor, but also for all his candidates.
We have a number of governors in the history of the state. Consider the shelter he built for the physically challenged people at Lakenwa. We and our wives and children are casting our votes for him.
The governor is upbeat of victory and warns against manipulation.
We have demonstrated for any development to happen, infrastructures must be in place. But infrastructure is not just about roads. Infrastructure will include even the security, the environment, yes, road, rail, water, electricity. That is infrastructures. We are happy that we have now laid the foundation for Ogun State. For the next 50 years, the foundation is well laid.
The countdown continues for the election, which is about 3 weeks away, and the governor believes that this turnout of supporters is a pointer to the kind of victory he expects in February 16, 2019.
From the campaign trail, we'll move on to some business news for the day. Here's Kayode Okikiolu.
Thank you, Ijama, and you're welcome to Business News. The central bank has announced plans to implement fresh capital rules for Nigerian banks in the second quarter of the year, as lenders are struggling to contend with non-performing loans. According to a report by Bloomberg, the financial markets regulator says the new requirements will be stricter in terms of what funding qualifies as capital and will also require lenders to create capital conservation and counter-cyclical buffers. The CBN says the rule, also known as Basel III, which is a global accord, seeks to protect the country's banks against shocks emanating locally and abroad by increasing the level of regulatory capital and assets quality. The Development Bank of Nigeria, DBN, is calling on more financial institutions to join those the bank is currently working with in order to key into funds for micro, small and medium enterprises in the country. During a media parley and the presentation of the year-to-date performance of the Development Bank of Nigeria, the bank's Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Tony Okpanachi, explains that through 29 participating financial institutions, DBN in a little over 1 year has given out 31.364 billion naira to 35,000 MSMEs.
The Development Bank of Nigeria formally started operations in October 2017. Armed with a mission to facilitate socio-economic development through the provision of finance to Nigeria's underserved micro, small and medium enterprises via eligible financial intermediaries, it's time to look back on its operations in the last 14 months.
We have almost 29 financial institutions already at different stages of working with us. Some of them, like I say, both commercial, micro, finance banks, they're all working with us at different stages. So what that means is that we've given options to the micro, small and medium enterprises all over the country to be able to approach any of their banks to ensure that they're able to access this funding. We have projected that by the end of last year, we're going to do 30 billion in terms of loan, but we ended up doing 31.3 billion, which was quite, beyond our projection. In terms of number of end borrowers, in terms of number of loans created for end borrowers by these PFIs, we have projected that last year we're going to do 20,000. We did over 35,000.
So far, loans from the Development Bank of Nigeria through partner banks have been extended to different sectors of the Nigerian economy, including trade, agriculture, manufacturing, construction, education, transportation, and finance, among others. The bank's MD CEO, Mr. Tony Okpanachi, gives more than a hint of what is to come.
DBN is coming out with longer tenor loans of up to 10 years, and when necessary, we are going to provide moratorium of almost 18 months. Our capital base, regulatory capital, is 100 billion, but in terms of total available capital for us in terms of debt and all that, we have about $1.3 billion from all our development partners. Yeah, going into the future, what we want to ensure first is this monies must get to the micro, small and medium enterprises. 2, the monies must be used for the purpose they are intended. And 3, the right impact that the money is supposed to make is really being made. And that is why, beyond just lending, we're going to do more monitoring and evaluation.
Behind the Development Bank of Nigeria are partners such as the Federal Government of Nigeria through the Ministry of Finance, the African Development Bank, the World Bank, KFW Development Bank, French Agency for Development, and the European Development Bank.
Let's head over to the NSE as the domestic stock market maintains positive performance for the third consecutive session this week, driven by more buying sentiments across major counters. Teniola Shubawale has a summary of Thursday's proceeding at the NSE.
Thanks, Kayode. The domestic stock market today maintained a positive momentum across all key parameters, sustaining sentiments ahead of 2018 earnings season. The composite index added 0.36%, looking to breach the 31,000 level on the back of strong bargain hunting, which also pushed the net value of all listed stocks to 11.558 trillion naira. Take a look at the primary indicators, which are consistent with midweek trading pattern. A total of 368.25 million shares were exchanged for 3.14 billion naira in nearly 3,800 transactions. In price performance, the shares of Learn Africa, Ikeja Hotel and Veritas Capital led 24 other gainers, while Medview Airline, Resort Savings and Union Bank are the highest among 20 losers. That's the summary of the stock market. I'm Teniola Shubawale. Back to you, Kayode.
Thank you, Teniola. The world's leading stock markets end with mixed sentiments across board for the second time this week. Well, let's take a look at some of the figures. And that's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu. It's now back to you, Ijeoma.